Let us see a very interesting topic in Power BI. How to append multiple Excel files from a folder. Imagine you have a folder where you keep pasting a file every month with similar data, and you want those files to automatically append one below the other. It is possible in Power BI. Here is an example. I've created a folder named Monthly Sales File containing Excel files. These files have a very small size, as I have purposely kept them small. The file names like April, February, January, May, March, etc. Now, I want to append those in Power BI. But before we append, let us open any file and see what data we have. I'll double-click on April 2020. The data is very simple. We have 3 columns: date, client, and sales in million. The date is in a table format. If I go to the Table Design menu bar, you can see the name of the table is April Table, which I have given properly. I can close this. I'll open one more table from a different file, let's say June 2020. You can observe that we have the same column names: date, client, and sales in million. The column names can be the same, and the position of the columns can be anywhere. The number of columns can be less or more. No problem. You can see the name is given as June Table, which corresponds to the file name June 2020. It can be a name. Also, no problem. I can close this. What I'll do is, I want to import this folder directly into Power BI. So I'll right-click and copy the path of the folder. Okay, so I have 6 files in this folder. Now I can open a blank Power BI file. When I say empty, nothing is there on the right-hand side. I can click on Get Data and then click on More button. And I should not click on the Excel file because it's not one Excel file, but it is a complete folder, which I have to pick up. So I'll select the option here as Folder and click on Connect. Now I can just paste the path of the folder and click on OK button. This will give me all the file structure. Okay, all the file names, the extensions, these are the file names. That's the extension which I have, the date modified, created, all the metadata about that file. I have to click on Transform Data because I don't want this metadata. I want the data inside those files. So, out of all the files, if you observe, only the first 2 columns are important. Okay, the first column is having the name of the column, and the second column is having the data of that file in the compressed format, a very complex format. So when you click on the blank space at the bottom, it will give you the size of the file, and the entire data will be there. So, what about the other columns like extension, access, modified, created? Those are not required. So let me select these 2 columns and remove the other columns. Now I have those 2 columns here. Now, what my job would be to extract the data from this contained column. This is the compressed format. So in the Add Column menu bar, I can click on Custom Column. That's the option. Custom Column. Here in this column, Custom Column, I can write an M function. One single function would be required, and the function would be Excel, Workbook. I can press the Tab key from my keyboard. Remember, this is case sensitive. E capital letter, W capital. Select Excel.Workbook. Now, Excel.Workbook, open brackets, double click on this content option and close the bracket. Now what is this contained, which I've selected? This contained is actually the right-hand side column which is available. The column is written here, available columns. These are nothing, but at the back end, if you see contained and name, these are 2 columns. So now I'll just click on OK button, and you can see a separate column named as custom column is created. And still, there is some data inside. You see, I can click on double-headed arrow and some columns will be there. We don't know what this is, but we'll click on OK button. When you click on OK, there are some columns on the right-hand side. These will tell you that each file is having some sheet or table. These are the name of the sheet and table here. So obviously, out of those 6 files, I'm interested only in tables. So I can just click on the drop down and select only table and click on OK. So from this kind column, I only want table. You see, these are all the tables here. These are the names of the table. Now out of all the columns, we only require 3 columns: the file name, the table name, and the data inside those tables. The other columns are not important right now. So you can select those 3 columns and remove other columns: the file name column and the table name, and the custom data. What is custom data? If I keep my cursor on the blank space, you can see the sample or the data will be visible here. What data is inside that table? So you can keep on clicking to cross-check. Here, the last step would be just click on this double-headed arrow and click on OK button. So carefully observe. One checkbox is there extra, which will find out what is that. Right now it is selected. I can just click on OK button. When you click on that OK button, this column should be visible: the date column, the client column, and the sales in million. But if you observe, everywhere there is a custom data dot. So unwanted prefix is added, which is not required right now. So I'll delete the last step, expand the column again, and remove this prefix. This will add a prefix to the columns. Here I'll just deselect, click on OK. This would be a clean column names here now. That's very simple. I can see how many records I have at the bottom. If you see, 60 rows are there, 60 records are there. So now I should just rename the column headings. I can rename this as file name, this one as table name, and this one as date. So I can just change the date type as date, okay? And the client name should be text. So I'll select the option somewhere a text would be there. And this is sales in billions. I'll keep it as it is, no problem. So now it's clean data. Let us cross-check. When I click on Home menu bar and click on Close and Apply, I'm coming out of Power Query into Power View. Whenever I say Power View, I mean to say where you can create some charts and visuals. So that is a Power View. So this section is the Power View, and the red section which I've highlighted is Power Pivot. Okay, which we have in the coming sections. So now I will just pick up this file name, drag and drop, and you can see these are the 6 files. Let me expand it till June. Suppose in that folder, if I bring one more file, I can just copy that file and I can just paste it. Let me rename that file. I'll type as July_2020, okay? One more file I've pasted, July 2020 here. When I go to Power BI, if you see, nothing has happened, but I can just click on this refresh button on the top in Home menu bar, and you can see one more file will be added, which is July 2020. Okay, that July file would be added here. It's given in this location, so the file name is added, but at the back end, the data also is updated. Suppose if you have created some charts or visuals, that will automatically update. Okay, so you can see that's a date field. I can just drag and drop this data. Entirely would be updated for July month as well. Since we have not changed the date inside that file or sheet, we cannot get the output, but you can see the changes will be visible here. And one more I can show you. I can go to Transform Data, and if I go to this Transform tab here, I can just click on Count Rows. So in this Count Rows, this is 70 seconds. Okay, 7 files are there. Each file was having 10 seconds. I will go back and copy one more file. Copy and paste here. One more file. So June, July, done. Now I'll type as August 2020. And when I come to Power BI or Power Query, this is the Power Query. I'll just click on Home Refresh. When I click on the Refresh button, you have to observe this number 70 will change to 80. Okay, that means the data is getting updated. So I can delete that last step, which is not required. So all the records will be updated automatically. It is given at the bottom here. So that's it. I hope you have understood how to append multiple Excel files from a folder in Power BI.